Third way you can reduce stress is when this is your philosophy. I hate my job. You got to deal with that. You got to deal with that. If your philosophy, I hate my job. Hate. That's a strong word. Are you sure you don't mean dislike? You're disgusted with it? You're dissatisfied? Or do you really mean hate? You really got two options if this is your reality, if you want to reduce stress. Number one, stay where you are and figure out how to lower your stress. Or two, make an assessment of your risk to make a change, get a running start, and bombs away. And you might find that what looks like green grass to you look like brown to the last guy, and when you jump over there, you're going to be just as miserable or not worse than what that person was. Y'all listen to me? Then again, maybe the greatest you've ever done in your life fulfills that burden. That's where wisdom and discernment has to come in. And courage. The other alternative is to go to daydreaming about an alternative reality. Like, we think, well, how nice would it have been to have been born like Adam? I mean, Adam had it cush out there in paradise. He's walking around with his wife with no clothes on. I mean, how bad could that be? Tough crowd. I don't know. But anyway, y'all it's getting too old. But anyway, they're in the prime of their life. They don't need anything. I mean, what a deal. But Genesis 2:15 says that wasn't enough for God. Before Adam messed up, the Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. That means he had a job to do. He had work to do. Work is not a cursed thing from God. We can make it a cursed thing, but work is not cursed. God created work even before Adam and Eve sinned. God gave Adam a purpose. And it wasn't just to sit around and work the least that you can. I just want to work two shifts and be off the rest of the week because I got lots of stuff I need to get into. Oh, I know you do. The enemy of your soul would love for you to be more free with no purpose so that you can get tangled up in every kind of deceitful and disgusting and despicable thing that will absolutely ruin and destroy your soul because you have no work ethic. Now, you might hate your job. That's fine. I've been there. I've done that. I should write the book about jobs that I've had in my past that I thought, man, I hate this job. But you got to fix that thinking if you want to reduce your stress, or you're just going to be miserable. Work may not always be fulfilling and satisfying, but work is always purposeful in God's thinking. Therefore, listen to me, half-hearted effort is never an option. We've been talking about Solomon. Jesus called him the wisest what? Wisest man that ever lived, right? Check out this verse up on the screen. Ecclesiastes 9:10, Solomon said, whatever you do. So put in there what you do for a living. Whatever you do, do well. For when you go to the grave, there will be no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom. So whatever you put your hands to, give it everything you've got to be the very best you can be at it. And if you can't stand doing that anymore, find something else that you can do well and do that. But if you don't get that settled in your life, your stress meter will go through the roof and you'll just say, I can't. So you have to make some tough decisions. Okay, God, I understand what your word says, but I cannot lower my stress if I keep doing this job. So because I cannot lower my stress, and I've asked you to help me, but I cannot do it, I have got to make a change. And that's what you got to do. Or you can say, my job is to just have high blood pressure until my veins burst and my heart explodes and I fall over dead. And people say, well, he went out with everything he had. Yeah, with all the stress. But no purpose. Y'all wait. You got to come to some decisions. So the Apostle Paul, this is an absolute responsibility of every single one of us. Paul says, pay careful attention to your own work. He says, for then you'll get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else, for we are each responsible for our own conduct. So he says, whatever you do, you need to put your heart all into it. And if you say, well, Pastor Chris, I've tried that and I can't put my heart into it anymore. My heart is absolutely closed off to that job. Then find something else. But don't be a poor testimony to the kingdom of God by continuing to show up and say, you know what, I'm willing to take the paycheck. Thank you very much for the paycheck, but just know I hate this job and I'm not going to put my heart into it because I hate it. It stresses me out, but I'm going to take the paycheck. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? I mean, if you hate it that bad and you're not willing to put your heart into it, even if you do hate it, put your heart into it until your heart into it. Even if you do hate it, put your heart into it. It will send you to do something greater or more fulfilling if you won't even do what you're doing right now with your full heart. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? He will not do it. So you've got to put your heart into it. I mean, you say, well, I'm not sure that's biblical. Well, let's look at what Jesus said. He says in Matthew chapter 25 and verse 23, the master said, well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I'm going to give you many more responsibilities. You might say, that sounds like to me more responsibilities and the pay is 30 cents more an hour. Well, you got to make a decision then. The reality is, though, if your heart's not in fully what you're doing right now, don't expect God to give you something greater to do because your heart's not in it. We all know that part of maturing and growing up is that not everything that you have to do and get to do is something that you're just like, oh, it's so fun. Right? It's just part of being an adult. That's what we have to teach kids. Oh, I don't want to do this work. Oh, you know, I didn't want to crawl out of the bed at 4:30 this morning either and go out and do this job. But I do it and I put my heart into it and do my very best because I want to honor God. And you're going to do the same thing or else. So, well, I beat that to death. Number 4.